Have you ever heard that forgiveness is key for our happiness, for our freedom? But what if you're not ready? What if you're like, that's not for me? They don't deserve forgiveness. I'm not willing to forgive. That's not okay with me. Learn how and why forgiveness does work, and how can forgiveness heal. If this is you, stay tuned. So forgiveness is something that's hard and difficult to accept, especially at the beginning, because we could have some limiting beliefs around it that will not let us accept it. I did a live stream recently on what's cognitive dissonance, and it's when we hear something that contradicts something we think is true, believe so to be true, it even evokes such a strong reaction that even makes us sick, like pukey and things like that. And it's because it's contradicting something that's in the unconscious, and we are not willing to accept, even if it's true. And as you know, I like to always mention the science behind things, though I do believe, and I hold a space, I create space for miracles, and I don't have to know how, and I trust the divine, but I also like to know the science behind things. So what happens when we don't forgive? What happens to our brain? What happens to our body? When we don't forgive, we're holding resentment, we're holding hostility, anger, and all of these feelings are within us. And it's making our hormones create cortisol and even adrenaline. And these resentments and grudges and things affect our cardiovascular system. And it feeds fear. So when we do forgive, we are allowing our body to go back to wellness, go back to balance, and not be on that high level. So if you're worried about your health, this is a big step too. So what is forgiveness? I recall I used to think it was accepting what it was done. I was wronged, and I'm not going to accept that. So forgiveness is not accepting what was done as acceptable, like it's okay. Forgiveness is still recognizing that it was wrong, and it's still sending boundaries for it to not happen again. It's not acceptable. Forgiveness is that I'm accepting that it was wrong, but I'm accepting that I will not let it control me. I'll be incarcerated by the person who did me wrong. If I don't forgive, they are still holding control over me like a puppet. They're still having control over my life. And forgiveness is one of the many steps we go through in my Emotional Resilience Roadmap program. It's part of Module 2 of letting go of the past, of healing the past, because it's part of our emotional healing journey that is essential. And we don't do it by compressing it and suppressing it, but we integrate it in our new story, in our new chapter. Because, like I've mentioned before, when we resist persists, and when we think that we are ignoring something, we really are not. We're restoring it in the unconscious mind, and it's gonna show. It's life is gonna make it manifest, and it's gonna resurface in our present, and we don't want that. And also, forgiveness is kind of triggering to resistance. So my videos are kind of becoming in a full circle, and it's a little awesome because you should watch my video on fear, on resistance, and Ho'oponopono. These are all interlinked and can help you forgive. What can keep us not forgiven is thinking that By not forgiving, we are punishing the person. We think we're punishing them by not forgiving them. And that is not true. The bad news is that you really are not punishing them. You're just holding, it's like holding a grip. So I welcome you to rethink forgiveness. Forgiveness is a gift you will give yourself. And I think I learned this from, shout out to Deepak Chopra, and it really allowed me to rethink what forgiveness is really a gift for ourselves. We are letting go of this weight on our shoulders, it's holding us inside. It's like removing baggage that we are carrying. And another thing that I read in one of Louise Hay's books that I really loved and I connected it with forgiveness is, you don't want to make dinner with yesterday's garbage. And the key to forgiveness is letting go of judgment. And judgment is one step required to live a negativity-free life. And when we forgive, we will start seeing the world not with those glasses. It's like you're wearing perception glasses and you are perceiving the world with resentment, with anger. And if you forgive, your reality will change. Plus, also, those thoughts stay within us and it's going to be ruminating. It's going to start telling us the same story over and over again. It's like torture. It's like they did us wrong and we keep thinking about it, we keep thinking about it, we keep thinking about it, and it's torture. And let's be honest, that makes us feel powerlessness and hopeless. How can we forgive? First, if you're not ready, honor it. I'm not telling you to pretend to forgive. I know it's hard, and I know horrific things are done to us sometimes. And if that's the place you are now, honor it and hold space for it, and at least hold the intention that one day you will forgive that. One day I have the intention to forgive because forgiveness is for me. And it's kind of like magic because when you set an intention, it just creates the space for it to happen. And then one day you will realize that it happened. So it helps you. You don't have to be pushing for it to happen, but it will create the events and everything so it happens. The other thing with forgiveness is that it's not something that you do once and you move on, and it's something that you do every day constantly. And this has to become one of your daily practices. Another warning regarding forgiveness is that forgiveness does not equal doormat. Forgiveness does not mean that you approve disrespect or things that are unacceptable. So you still have to have personal boundaries, and there's a video that you can watch on how to set personal boundaries. Forgiveness is something you can hold just within you. You don't have to go and tell anyone, I forgive you. It's just for you. It is something you do within you. The next step is practice using, when you talk, try speaking in the first person. Speak saying I instead of saying they're making me feel. They did this. It's kind of like try to remove yourself from patterns of deflection and blaming. So start practicing I statements. What this does is it allows you to be responsible for you now. There are events in our past that are unfixable and we can't go time travel, but today you are powerful. Today you hold the pen of your story, of your new chapter. It's a blank page. And I'm taking responsibility starting now. And another tip is to track your thoughts, track your patterns, track if you don't know how to forgive because it's something that maybe sounds foreign and you're not familiar, you can make affirmations, new mantras, and practice repeating them. And they will start getting embedded in your unconscious mind. And one affirmation that you can practice is, forgiveness is for me. I'm willing to let go of judgment because I need to move on and I deserve to have a new life, a better life, a best life. And I would like to leave you with this thought. If you're still feeling resistance toward forgiving, just think of this. What is the best revenge you could have to those who hurt you, who wronged you? What's the ultimate revenge? And it doesn't have to be negative. Well, it's being happy. You deserve to be happy. So have a happy life. You deserve it. Claim it. Don't forget that I also offer free resources. Below there's the links for my top 7 personal development books, a quiz that it gives you a customized guide to match your answers. And if you want to learn more about my programs, you can visit bossofmyfeelings.com for more emotional intelligence tools. Oh, hi Luna. At least turn around.